Imagine what your life will be like when you're on fire, when you're lit up, when you're joyful.
And the founder of the Holomovement Purpose Lab. She's an inspirational speaker on the stages of TEDx and beyond. Zenka is a systems architect who is creating solutions for an evolutionary renaissance.
My purpose is to really redefine consensus reality and expand what we believe is possible. Because there's incredible people in this world doing incredible things. And if someone can do it, then others can do it. And I think that there's a lot of things that are coming down the pike, a lot of challenges, but there's a ton of opportunities. And the stories we tell ourselves and what we believe is actually likely to happen because that's how we are setting our foot forward. So I think my purpose is really to help everybody, reconsider consensus reality, expand what we believe we're capable of because we're capable of incredible things. And my purpose is to build a better world by encouraging people to test out their ideas and do prototypes that serve the new paradigm that's coming in. I really started coming alive, I believe, when I got a chance to do what I was really passionate about. And I always was a passionate person, and I worked in film companies and I worked in tech companies and I was doing all these things. But I think in the back of my mind, I always thought it would be like play if I could be an artist. But it wasn't something that I believed that I could make money at or that I could do for a living until I went on an unplugged vacation with my husband at the time. And we'd built a whole successful tech company. And the rush of it was gone because we had become successful and we had this 3-day unplugged vacation. So it was like gerber wheel of like, do, stopped. And we thought about like, what do we really want? And he said he wanted to work for a gaming company. And I said I wanted to become an artist. And that seemed so crazy to me. I mean, it's even funny just saying it here. And he was like, well, interesting, let's do it kind of thing. And we got back and we started to look around to sell our company. And he landed a job in the most famous gaming company in the world, Riot Games. And he was like, go ahead, be a full-time artist. And I remember just going, wow. And it was so fun because I was doing what really lit me up. And what's also interesting is that we had moved to LA at that time, and I had a full-time ceramic studio, and I got a show in downtown LA. And for some reason, I got it in my head that I was going to sell 80% of the show. And I think I said that over and over to myself for 3 months. This is the power of belief in your mind. I don't even know if I actually believed I could do it. I just was like, oh, sell 80% of the show. And the craziest thing happened. So I had some sales at the opening, I had some other sales, and then all of a sudden this woman walked in from Delta Airlines and she bought like 60% of the show. And all of a sudden I had sold 80% of the show exactly down to the exact number. And I thought, wow. So it went on like that. And then I eventually decided that I didn't want to be an artist anymore. because my mind was so filled with ideas and building software and systems, social architectural systems, that I finally felt like my ideas, I was speaking as a futurist, and I felt like my ideas weren't taken seriously because, oh, she's just an artist or something, you know? So I said, no, not doing that anymore. And I set about to do what I felt was my destiny, which was to build software for a renaissance, to inspire a renaissance. And so that's what I've done for the last 5 or 6 years. So my struggles came in because what I wanted to build and what I wanted to do was fairly futuristic at that time. I wanted to build augmented reality search engines, and I named my company Wisdom Age Metaverse. This was before anyone even knew what a metaverse was. And so I struggled with the size of my ideas, and also I don't think people understood what I was trying to do. So I really had to put everything off into the future and start with the very first basic steps, and then convince people to give me money as a woman in tech, and all that journey, and just really start piece by piece. And I think that, I'm almost crying right now because, well, maybe I am crying. I think sometimes you have to believe in yourself, because there's a lot of people that didn't believe or couldn't understand. And I had to go, well, I know that this is going to be important, and I know it's going to be useful, and you just have to persevere and not worry if other people in your life or even in your industry understand what or support you. So now I feel that when I do demos and when I show what the system can do and what we're doing, it's like, wow, that's so cool. And this happens sometimes. So for all of the people out there listening, that's really all you need is belief in yourself. And also, if you're doing something new, there's no precedence to stand on. So you have to be okay with that. If you're going to be a pioneer, you better be okay with that. And we need lots of pioneers, because right now the world is changing so much. There's so much innovation. This is the Renaissance. And so a lot of people are going to say, this is what I want to do. And it's not going to be on a job description. It's not going to be on the form if you list all the jobs. It's not going to be there. And you're going to have to say, oh, but we need it. And this is what I see, and this is what I believe is my contribution. It's interesting to think that only 5% live their purpose and only 10% know their purpose. Because for me, it's really like you just come alive when you're living your pattern or your intelligence or your gifts. It's just like, wow, this is so cool. So it's really sad that only so few have done that. And I think I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, as children, we have 2 desires. One is to express ourselves, our uniqueness. And the second one is to feel love and belonging. And what happens is, in an early age, I think what happens is that maybe our parents or our environment's not ready for us. So they're just like, come into line, or stop talking about that, or do this or that. They want you to be like the others because it's a lot easier. But really expressing your individuality, and that's so many kids are being born these days that are different, in so many ways. And we have to just accept that they are going to have a different road or different understanding of how they want to live their lives. And so I think part of the problem we're in is that we don't accept people as they are, their unique personalities. Parents want them to be more like them. And often our traits skip a generation. The other thing I think is that, like me, people don't literally believe that they can make a living and do their passion at the same time. So that belief is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because there's nothing more attractive to someone that is just in their purpose. There is money there. There is acceptance there. There is usefulness there. There's all sorts of things. But sometimes, even the people in our lives are well-meaning and they want us to have a more stable or more this or that life. But really, if you look at the most successful people out in the world, it's because they loved what they did. And my dad always told me that. He said, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. The advice I have to people seeking their purpose is to seek. Definitely look for your passion and purpose, because I can speak from experience that when I started living why I'm meant to be here and living that dream in real life, it's been more amazing than I could have ever imagined. All the support showed up, all the people showed up and continue to show up. It's as if you feel like your unique intelligence is contributing something to the world. And it's incredibly empowering to be happy when you wake up, and you really meet so many amazing people. I'm living the best life that I've, every year is better than the last. And it goes on like that. And I think we interviewed Will, the director of What's the Bleep, and he said that of the 90% that haven't found their purpose, he's like, you really have to analyze what percentage of those are even looking for it. So that's one thing. The second thing I think that's important is just writing it down. I know when we interviewed DJ Taz, he said that he actually wrote down what the mission of his life was, and all of a sudden everything started conspiring. Oftentimes we're not very intentional with ourselves, with our friends. So write it down, tell other people, and just speak it out loud. That's powerful. And also, if you don't know what your purpose is, write it down that you want to know your purpose, and ask for a sign, ask for guidance. Oftentimes you're going to meet someone or you're going to do something. So holding that intention is really, I think, important. So the effect I've had on other people while living my purpose is contagion, joy contagion, probably. But it's also, this is what we base LightNet on, is the 4-minute mile. If I can figure out how to live my purpose and get paid to be a social architect and a futurist, you can do anything. We can inspire each other that dreams come true, that our true life's purpose will be taken care of. We will find the way. And I think to some extent, that's what's so beautiful, is that if you take the high road, then you're inspiring another person to take the high road. If you believe in yourself, you're inspiring someone else to believe in themselves, right? Because we take the cues on that. And I think that the effect I've had in other people is what we built. Straight up, we have LightNet, which is saying, okay, nothing's impossible, and we'll show you. So we have impossible labs, and we do everything from helping people find their purpose to helping people get out of addiction, whether they're quitting coffee or something else. We also do a spoon bending lab. So we teach people how to bend spoons, which seems absolutely ridiculous, but people do it. And that's what's so unbelievable, because we're starting to understand consciousness and quantum physics, and it's very strange. Like, wait a minute. And then we apply that to talking to past loved ones, and also to things like getting out of a wheelchair. That's one of our labs. There are some people who got out of a wheelchair somehow, even though the doctor said not going to happen. So what did they do? So I think it's really inspiring to collect these stories, so that of the 4-minute mile and the 100th monkey, because we really can pave a new path for ourselves. The Holomovement and LightNet have collaborated to bring the Purpose Lab into existence as an available tool for everybody out there that are searching for their calling and their passion. And the way it works is that we interviewed 100 people and we looked for patterns. We analyzed what they said and looked for their methods, the books they read, the movies they saw. Did they travel? Did they not travel? We looked for patterns. And we put that into the LightNet search engine and its pie charts based on each person's leap map, we call it. They leapt into their best life. And then we mash up how everyone did that of the 100. And we're going to keep going and keep going. The next step is inviting people who don't know their passion and purpose into a group of 8 to 12 with someone who's already done it, that they know their passion and purpose, and say, hey, we've got 8 weeks. Let's figure it out. And we have different modules, going through gene keys, for example, or sitting down and really meditating back to before you were 7, or setting the intention, the group intention. And we look at our success rate. So we make it fun. We make it easy. And in that process, all of those people go out and interview more people, their next door neighbor, whoever they know that have found their purpose. So pretty soon we have a mentorship program. We have a belief that you can do it. You have a community supporting you make those leaps, taking away those blocks of, oh, it's impossible, or I'll never be able to. Well, you can. And we are going to enjoy that process. Because to me, this is the most fundamental question of all. Why are we here? Why are you here? Me answering that question has just changed my life drastically. It's like that Joseph Campbell quote that says, follow your bliss and doors will open that you didn't even know existed. You cannot possibly imagine what your life will be like when you're on fire, when you're lit up, when you're joyful, when you're excited to get up in the morning. It's the stuff of miracles. And it started to make me think that consciousness, our ability to create our realities, is born out of joy and joy alone. And so it's really important that we find that way to help others and to bring that sort of reciprocal joy. Is like, my win is your win, is my win, is your win, is my win, is your win. And it's like the Holomovement. It's love in motion, is what Emmanuel says. Love in motion. What would the world be like if everyone was living their purpose? Well, it would just be incredible. Because, there's all these quotes like, if a small amount of people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Imagine if the Renaissance was filled with all these people who are lit up, ready to get up in the morning, excited to get up in the morning, to bring their unique genius. Because there are no mistakes here. Everyone was born with a unique genius. We just we aren't encouraged to figure that out. And then we run away from the challenges. So I knew nothing about astrology. And someone did astrology for me like a couple of years ago. And they were like, oh yeah, your North Node, you need to provide for yourself. You need to deal with money. I'm like, what? I was like, wait a minute. That's the thing I run away from. Finance, all this. I'm like, can someone else do that? But no. So your evolution, there's a part of your destiny in your life that is the hardest part of it. And that's the part you run away from. But when you face it and you go, no, I'm going to actually lean into this. I can actually do this. That's where you have all the wind at your back, because that's your mountain. And we all have a mountain. So with your thing that you love, then you take that and you go, I'm going to climb the mountain. And then you get real chemistry happening. Then you really can have the impact you've always wanted, because you've mastered your own evolution. And isn't that why we're here?